One of Red Robbie's favorite questions that he's constantly asked by many people is, even after all of these years, after everything that you have seen in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, how is it you can continue to keep your interest in something for this long? Well, I have a few very simple answers for you. And much like the real life examples that you'll see, marriage is a fantastic example of this. I'm single as fuck, but what do I know? But typically you see people married to somebody for 25, 30 years. I mean, my grandparents were together for 52, 53. That's insanity at the end of the day. And when you look at perfect examples like this, honestly, it's not that things disinterest you, it's they evolve with the times. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is a fantastic example of that. So we're going to have a nice little discussion about keeping thine interest in Yu-Gi-Oh and staying excited through the course of a, 12 to 15-year-old marriage? Yeah. Alright, let's dig into this, shall we? I know how excited you guys are. MKohl40. Alright, that's right, we compared Yu-Gi-Oh to like being in a committed relationship with your significant other. That is to the extent in which we're going here. So, a little bit of background on me. I've been playing this game since my first starter deck. I still have my original Pot of Greed. No idea what the fuck happened to my original Swords of Revealing Light. I still have Trial of Hells. If you guys don't know, Trial of Hell is a misprinted card from LOB, I believe the first editions had it. It was long since changed to Trial of Nightmare. It's a very common misprint, but still pretty interesting. My original Pot of Greed's a much different green than the rest. That's how I remembered it. But, man, because of the times and things like that, back in, God, I don't even remember what year it was. I just remember going to my locals, being like, Mommy, Daddy, give to me money, please. And I bought my starter decks. And then I used the only $10 in my pocket to buy 2 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh, which was LOB. And I'm pretty sure I was extremely disappointed when I pulled the fucking Reaper of Nightmare and I looked at the stats. I'm like, one of these things is not like the other. So, generally speed up your process. I mean, on a wee little lad's, what was it? I don't even, salary's not the allowance, that one. On a wee little boy's allowance, back in the day, I remember buying 5 packs, pulling a Gate Guardian. Man, I really miss that first Gate Guardian. But after so long, you kind of just spit fired. Eventually, locals started showing up in the area. I remember me and my one friend, I actually remember playing the first starter decks against each other. I had Dark Magician, my friend had Blue Eyes. Of course, I was getting my asshole railed because, 3,000 were sending up 2 tributes to do it. My friend was infinitely better than me. It's been a while. He moved to Washington. I haven't had a good conversation with him in a while. But you're watching this Mike Payne. I'm still pretty much alive. Pretty much the most fucking generic name to ever exist for somebody. But I started, he was in the Pokemon scene up there. But there was that. But there's always been that thrill with the game. I remember coming up into like my competitive years, I think it was during 2006, we actually had a little convention in our area. And over in Fort Wayne, it was like the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. And I remember I won both of the tournaments there. And of course, little Robbie started to like kind of get a little bit of an ego going there. I mean, some days I'm egotistical, but 16, 17-year-old me was not a very fucking fun thing. So, Injection Fury Lily, Yada Lock, very fun time. So eventually we got to 2007. And 2007 was the year that I started massively playing competitively. I remember staying up 36 hours going to Shonen Jump Columbus. My first Shonen Jump I'd ever been to. Actually, it was the first time I'd really gone on any sort of trip outside, like going to Florida with the family and things like that. So, went with a good friend of mine at the time. It was Tyson. Stayed the night with him. Of course, nobody from this time era plays Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. Spent the night with Tyson. I was so excited bouncing off the walls, getting a chance to go with my first event. Went with our other friend, Mike Hernandez. God, I miss Mike. Being able to use the word Holmes as every part of the English dictionary was Something I'll never forget. I've never met another person that can use Holmes as an adjective, an adverb, a pronoun, a noun. Pretty sure that man used Holmes as a fucking verb. Like, kudos to you, man. But we got up through that event. I got my first gadget mat. Of course, I went to the event playing gadgets. Gadgets had been running around in Japan for half a year to a year. So we get up through the course of that period. Of course, I'm loving the deck. I got my first actual custom playmat from that event. And, the love of the deck, I finished 6-4. It was a very nice reality check. At the end of the day, you realize that you're not as tough of shit, but that 6-4 gave me this competitive niche, and it gave me the drive to get better. Once you're hot shit, correction, once you have an ego for so long and eventually that ego gets crushed, two things happen. One, you eventually no longer have that drive to want to get better, or you do have that drive, that fire builds in you, and you want to be back on the top of your summit, which honestly is the thing that, if you want to know what has kept me going for so long in this game, it was the burning desire to be better, to be the best with gadgets. And I know you guys haven't seen anything gadget related on this channel for the last couple of years. Be honest with you, the deck's not as good as it used to be, but they gave me something that I missed. You can say MKohl40's washed up, that's fine, you're entitled to your opinion. I can still, after getting back in the game and relearning, eventually you will take a break at some point. It's inevitable. And even if that break is not playing the game, if you're still staying educated, it still hurts. But up through the time frame that we were doing this, I played gadgets for years. I topped my first Shonen Jump in 2008 in December. Shonen Jump Detroit before Upper Deck lost the game. Cesar Gonzalez gave me another massive reality check that just because you think you're on the top of your prime. Doom Caliber Knights helped. They really did. But eventually you get into another reality check where you realize you can only do so much playing an anti-meta deck, but you continue down that path. Fast forward 2010, 2011, still continuing to top with gadgets at regionals and things like that. Regional tops don't mean anything. 2012, we reached the next apex of our career. We get third place at Shonen Jump. Actually, I think it was YCS Indy. I don't remember. I think it was YCS at that time. Got my second top. So at this point in time, I eventually reach satisfaction. I was actually very satisfied at this point in my life. I finally had done something that a lot of people haven't done. The third place is very spectacular. And it's fine. But eventually, once you kind of sum it out, you kind of just... life eventually catches up to you. You have to make some decisions. You have to decide if you want to grow up and things like that. And you go through relationships in life, You might think that you found something that you want, and you make decisions to go for said things. But at the end of the day, eventually, those things might not work out, and that's fine. When I was 24, 25, an opportunity came up on my lap, and I reached for it. And a lot of times you're 24, 25, you question, do I really want to do what I'm doing now for the rest of my life? And the answer at that point in time was, no, I don't want to keep playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I would very much like to pursue other things in my life. So I jumped at that opportunity. Well, at the end of that time, 8 months rolled around. You guys remember the quality on this channel was shit. I kind of lost my will to live. And God, that sounds so suicidal. Don't take it that way. It's not. When I say my will to live, I mean the will to play the game. Well, eventually, at the end of that time, I pulled my head back out of my ass. I said, "Fuck it. I wanna continue to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Vanguard. You guys know this. Vanguard's one of my, it's actually my second favorite game. But I started getting heavier into the vending side, buying and selling. You guys know this. How else do you think I do it? Basically work the equivalent to 2 jobs. On top, YouTube's not really a real job, but time and effort does take time from it, on top of orders and other things like that. But at the end of the day, I made the decision to continue on with where I was. So my spark from 2014 to 2015 actually very massively dwindled. It wasn't really there, but it was kind of because Dragon Rulers and the game evolved. And this is what I say when I mean you need to evolve to go with the times. So the game of Yu-Gi-Oh itself went through this natural evolution. And because now Yu-Gi-Oh evolved from the stun format that we had to the explosive Dragon Ruler format, I didn't really enjoy that time. And eventually, over time, you'll go through a couple formats. You'll be like, why am I playing this? Necros was another fantastic example of that time. I had full power Necros because I ended up picking up everything when everyone was fire selling everything off of the Nationals that they were afraid the deck was going to get hit. Well, the deck escaped a very sorrowful death, and because of that, I had that, but I didn't really play. I love Necros, but I kind of skipped out on that format, kind of skipped out on Burning Abyss. I mean, like, I stayed educated during those times. But I didn't really have a locals either at this time. It was another thing that kind of hurt. Evidently, locals kind of bring you back in, but basically, we arrived at 2017, December-ish. I had a locals November, December, started playing ABC a lot, and because of this time, I really wanted to bring my channel back to life. I mean, things are a little bit slower now, but in the grand scheme of things, the way that they were going, 2017, I wasn't satisfied, especially coming off of 2015, 2016, building my own business and things like that. You need to be aware of everything that you can do. And being lazy up through that time, on top of being unhappy, you do pull your head out of your ass. And it literally took me being 26, 27 to realize that. You know, you never really understand what you have in front of you, being a fucking massive fucking prick to yourself, being like, oh man, like, why am I not taking advantage of this? The thing is, I had built my YouTube channel, and I enjoy making videos. Abso-fucking-lutely. This is one of my all-time favorite things. Getting in front of the camera, voicing my opinions, and things like that. I felt that I was doing a disservice at that point in time by not continuing to do what I loved. So, during the Christmas of 2016, we did the 12 Days of Christmas. Very fantastic. 2017 came around, we hit the channel, and we pulled us out of our 55,000 slump. Now, we're still sitting at 63, 64 at the moment. I'll be honest with you. I'm still not entirely satisfied, but you know what? I have my spark back. I have the want to be interested in the game again. And, I mean, my competitive drive jumped from Yu-Gi-Oh! To Vanguard. It's not like the gears in my head, pun intended, weren't spinning and I wasn't bettering myself in my card game experiences. But in the grand scheme of things, the experiences you take from one game to another will help you have that. And playing 2 card games is absolutely hard, especially if you take a break for X time. You have to relearn everything. Relearning a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm definitely not as good as I used to be. I'll tell you that. I would argue that at some points I'm a little bit better than I used to be. My theory was pretty okay still, but there's still a lot of things that I can learn to better myself. But, and like I said, I'm satisfied with where things are. So, point of this video, no matter the life experiences you go through, you eventually have to make a decision. And hopefully the decision that you make for yourself will allow you to continue to do what you really love. Because I don't think I'd be happy right now if it wasn't for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And honestly, for you guys. I really enjoy having these conversations with everybody. And I honestly think without this channel, I don't know if my life would be as intriguing or as interesting as it is today. But guys have any questions about my life, feel free to leave them down below. Eventually I want to do another Q&A video. I think it would be fun just to see what else people have come up with. Well, that's honestly all I have for this video. My train of thought kind of dipped off. I think I wrapped up the summary pretty well, but we'll see. If you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to ask them down below. That's all I got. Deuces, guys. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out MKohl40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.